I want to show you something that rarely makes it into history books. During World War II, dozens of American aircraft didn't crash in enemy territory. They didn't get shot down. Rather, they landed safely. And then they were abandoned, frozen into the ice of Greenland, where many of them remain to this day.
These planes weren't lost in battle. They were lost to weather, geography, and a war that pushed aviation beyond its limits. When the United States entered World War II, it faced a massive logistical problem. Aircraft needed to reach Europe quickly, but long-range transport planes were still rare. And shipping aircraft by sea was slow and dangerous. The solution was a stepping stone route across the North Atlantic. From North America to Newfoundland, to Greenland, then to Iceland, and then finally into Britain. Now, Greenland was a vast frozen island with almost no infrastructure, and it suddenly became a critical link in the war effort, even though most Americans had never thought about it before. And that decision would strand dozens of aircraft in one of the most unforgiving environments on Earth. Flying across Greenland wasn't just difficult. It was dangerous in ways pilots definitely weren't prepared for. The navigation was primitive. Weather forecasts were unreliable. And the ice cap created sudden storms, whiteouts, and violent winds that could appear without warning. Pilots who encountered trouble often had only one option, which was to land on the ice. Now, in many cases, they did so successfully. The crews survived. Some were rescued days or weeks later. But the aircraft themselves, they were simply left behind. Now, at the time, these were just machines. The war demanded speed, not recovery. Over time, something strange happened. Of course, snow fell, the ice accumulated, and year by year, these aircraft sank deeper into the Greenland ice sheet. So what had once been parked on the surface slowly disappeared, buried under tens, then hundreds of feet of compacted snow and ice.
Some planes remained visible for a few years. Others vanished almost immediately. And when the war ended, few people gave them another thought. Except decades later, when explorers went looking for them.
On July 15th, 1942, a group of 6 P-38 Lightning fighter planes from the 94th Squadron along with 2 B-17 bombers, were being flown to England to fight in the war. They got lost in bad weather and ran out of fuel. The planes were forced to ditch, all making emergency landings on the Greenland ice sheet. All 25 men were rescued, but the planes were abandoned on the glacier. Now, this particular area of Greenland receives, believe it or not, 35 to 50 feet of snow each winter, which results in an average of 7 feet of buildup each year. These particular planes, the 6 P-38 Lightnings and the 2 B-17 bombers, all were buried under approximately 268 feet of snow turned into ice. In the early 1990s, a recovery team using ground-penetrating radar and boring a series of holes located one of these aircraft. It was a P-38 Lightning fighter that had landed on the ice in 1942. By the time they found it, that plane, that P-38 Lightning, it was buried under more than 250 feet of ice. That aircraft eventually became known as Glacier Girl. Vermont native Wee Smith, race car mechanic, and warbird enthusiast, was part of that expedition. I got the chance to talk to him about Glacier Girl in 2022.
I was brought up to work on Glacier Girl to help take it apart. I first went in 1990 to actually go and help find the P-38s. Hey, they're going to go up to Greenland and let's go dig these planes up that are 265 feet in the ice. It sounds stupid. Once in a lifetime you ought to go. I'm not an aircraft mechanic, I'm a car mechanic, basically. It all sounded very feasible. So for me, it was like, yeah, sure. It just fascinated me, and it's a piece of history. And I just wanted to see these planes. Then I went back in 92 with Greenland Expedition Society, Pat Epson, Richard Taylor. When you go into an environment like Greenland, the ice cap or something, the storms, the weather, and all the things that go wrong, everything is going to break. Well, I was a mechanic. I fixed broken things. Mechanics are mechanics pretty much. Bolts get screwed in by somebody, they get screwed out by somebody else. If you don't overthink it, it's a lot better.
Using hot water drills, engineers slowly melted a shaft down to the wreck, uncovering a perfectly preserved World War II fighter, entombed in ice for half a century.
The first time when I went down in the hole, it was 48 inches in diameter, and you can stick your arms out. It's that small of a hole. You're going down to a plane and smelling the stench of varnish from the gasoline. It makes you think twice when you're down there. Where you're going and what you're doing is way too dangerous, especially the Glacier Girl. You want to trust everybody you're in the hole with. We're 268 feet down in the ice. If you can't trust the guy next to you, you shouldn't be there. He shouldn't be there. People say you can't do something. Well, there's ways around it. People laugh at us sometimes about how we did Glacier Girl. You watch other people that are trying to do things and you think, by God, we had it right. Everybody wants to be part of something like that, but very few will actually cross that line. I mean, we managed to get out and come home. Unless you can go to Greenland and do it, come talk to me when you get some experience. So I got to help do all of that stuff, but also get to know the people that were really involved and see this plane because it was such a precious piece of history.
The recovery proved something remarkable. Greenland wasn't just hiding one plane. It turns out Greenland was hiding many. Bombers, fighters, entire aircraft formations. Some are now known, but others, they're still missing. Their exact locations lost beneath the ice. It's not surprising that recovering aircraft from Greenland is slow, expensive, and above all, dangerous. I mean, in many cases, it simply isn't worth the risk. So the planes remain. Silent markers of a war that stretched human technology to its limits. They weren't shot down. They weren't defeated. Just simply overtaken by the environment.
And this raises a bigger question. Why was Greenland so important during World War II in the first place? Because these aircraft weren't there by accident. In the next video, we'll look at how this frozen island quietly became one of the most strategically important places of the entire war. Because that's the part of the story we rarely talk about.